Chapter 1. A Crown of Clover. Clover Infusion Blend. 1/2 cup fresh dandelions. 1/2 cup fresh clover. 3 or 4 fresh mint leaves. 1 tablespoon shredded fresh ginger. Rinse the dandelions and clover in a colander. Mix all of the ingredients in a large bowl and set aside. Bring a quart of water to a boil. Remove the water from the heat and pour slowly over the mixture in the bowl, taking deep breaths to breathe in the steam as you pour. The infusion helps with detoxifying and regulating your organs. These common and healing plants gift you with earthy memories and childhood dreams. You will also find that your breathing is improved and your skin feels soft and supple. You can buy the mint and ginger from your local grocery. The dandelions and clover you can gather in a yard or field. You can use the leaves, stems, and blossoms of both plants. Adjust the amount of clover and dandelions to strengthen or weaken the infusion. Once it is cooled down, soak a washcloth in the infused water, place it on your neck and feet, and enjoy a nice clover wrap. My contemplation of the universe began with a blade of crabgrass. I had just turned 6 and overheard Mr. Price, a neighbor at the end of the cul-de-sac, talking about getting rid of all his crabgrass. It was the summer of 1969, and by all accounts the world had pretty much stalled in mid-orbit if you judged it by the activities on my dead-end street. But the world was flying through space and time if I judged it by how the forces of the universe were acting on us while we yawned. At the time, my whole world consisted of a tiny street with my yard as the axis, and the place where I began my journey to understand faith and theology. From there, I learned the rotation of the earth and the pattern of the stars, and dreamed of becoming an astronaut, or at least a gymnast. For me, it was simply a time of living in the moment, and for the moment, I was looking for crabgrass. To some people on our South Nashville street, crabgrass was a sign that things were falling apart in the world. In the late 1960s, integration was well underway. Girls were getting ready to become ministers and firemen, and liberals were beginning to make strides against the war. But that all happened outside my tiny world. The biggest problem I faced was trying to find things to do for the summer. I climbed the limbs of the weeping willow tree in the neighbor's yard at least 100 times. I built a fort of plywood on the lowest branch of one of our silver maples. I played tetherball against the neighborhood kids until my wrists were sore to the touch. I played nighttime tag with a flashlight until all the batteries died. The neighborhood kids accepted that this was our life and that we were all in it together. What made it interesting was the internal thoughts being sown in my heart that would set the course for the rest of my life. My yard looked boring and average if you judged it by all the other lots in the world. But it was fascinating to me because I knew it like the back of my hand. I loved the 2 silver maples, the mimosa that Mom said was a junk tree growing through our chain-link fence, and the side yard that spread out between the 2. Mr. Price said the crabgrass likes to take over lawns so much that the more desired and fragile grasses never have a chance. When he explained that crabgrass would take over the whole neighborhood if left unchecked, I took it as a personal mission to rid the universe of crabgrass. Crabgrass is not easy to identify. It changes appearance as it ages and blends in well with the grass and clover of typical lawns. Crabgrass belongs to that strange group of plants we have segregated into the confusing category called weeds. It's an odd classification to me since there were probably no weeds in Eden. Today I think of weeds as invasive and growing spitefully against the will of the people tending the land. Crabgrass definitely fits into the weed category. The unruly vegetation came with the British and is famed for taking over lawns. As a child, I never questioned crabgrass's classification. If it was a weed, that simply meant it was bad and our job was to kill it. I never stopped to wonder why God included crabgrass in creation or how the fast-growing grass fit into the idea of healing. Since then, I've discovered 100 beautiful lessons from crabgrass. While we may not want patches of it in our lawn, crabgrass, like all of us, has a rightful place in creation. The roots of crabgrass can be boiled in tea to help with bronchitis. As part of a tonic, crabgrass is a diuretic and hepatic, and helpful to both the liver.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.